Harry never planned to spend 10 grand that day. He was just passing by the old community hall where the local animal auction was being held. He'd been saving for college, picking up weekend shifts at the hardware store. But something made him stop. Maybe it was fate. Inside, the place buzzed with noise, dogs barking, people talking, auctioneers shouting. But Harry's eyes landed on a small wire cage tucked in the corner. A cat sat huddled in the back, trembling, her fur dirty and matted. One of her ears was torn, and a long scar ran down her side. She didn't even look up when people passed. She's been through hell. The volunteer whispered beside him. Found behind a dumpster. Nobody's bidding. Harry's heart pulled. There was something in the way she looked. Or didn't look. As if she had already given up. And somehow he knew she was the one. She wasn't cute or friendly, but she felt familiar, lonely, like him. Bidding started at $10. 10. Someone called from the back, just to make a joke. 20, Harry said, raising his hand. The room chuckled. You serious, kid? 50. Now people turned. Someone near the front snorted. You trying to buy her soul? 500, Harry said louder. Whispers filled the air. Even the auctioneer paused. Then someone across the room called. 1,000. Harry's heart jumped. He scanned the room. Who else wanted her? 1,500, he said, not blinking. The man raised again. 2,000. Harry hesitated. That was rent money. But his eyes went back to the cage. The cat was looking at him now. Just a little, but her gaze wasn't empty anymore. 10,000, Harry said quietly. Gasps, silence. Then the hammer dropped. Sold. To the kid with more heart than sense. When he stepped forward to collect her, the volunteer leaned in. She's not easy. She doesn't trust. I don't need easy, Harry whispered. Just real. They gave him the cage, and she hissed the moment he touched it. Hey, Harry said softly. You're safe now, okay? I'm Harry. She didn't care. Just crouched low, eyes wild. He carried her to his car, careful not to shake the cage. On the way home, he kept glancing at her. You've been hurt, he said, more to himself, but I'm not going to give up on you. Back at his apartment, Harry set the cage down and opened the door. She didn't move. He stepped back and waited. Minutes passed. Then she crept out, belly low to the ground. She sniffed the floor, then darted under the couch. Harry sat on the floor nearby. You can stay there. I'm not going to push you. The next few hours, she stayed hidden. Harry left food, water, and a blanket near the couch. Every once in a while, he'd speak. I named you Luna. You don't have to like it yet. At night, Harry lay on the couch, just a few feet away. He couldn't sleep. Every sound made him glance over. He caught a glimpse of her once, sneaking out to eat. The moment she saw him watching, she froze. I'm not going to hurt you, he said gently. She ran back under the couch. Harry sighed. Tomorrow, then. In the morning, he found the food gone. A small sign of trust. By the end of the week, Luna hadn't hissed in 3 days. She still wouldn't let Harry near, but she'd come out when he wasn't looking. He caught her watching him sometimes, curious but cautious. You're not like other cats, Harry smiled. That's okay. I'm not like other people. Each day, Harry spoke to her, shared his thoughts, his fears. It was like talking to someone who wouldn't judge him. She didn't reply, but he felt her listening. Then one night, as he sat cross-legged on the floor, reading, he felt something brush his knee. He looked down. Luna was sitting beside him. Not touching, but close. He didn't move, didn't speak. She stared at him. Those broken eyes didn't look as empty anymore. Hi, he whispered. She blinked. It wasn't much. But to Harry, it was everything. He knew she had a long road ahead. They both did. But in that quiet moment, on that worn carpet, with a scarred cat and a boy who had spent $10,000 for something money couldn't buy, something had begun, something real. Luna didn't move when Harry opened his eyes that morning. She was curled up under the table, staring at the wall. He whispered, "Morning, Luna." She didn't blink. Harry placed a fresh bowl of food near her, then stepped back. She waited until he left the room before inching toward it. Every day was like that. Quiet, distant, careful. He tried everything. Toys, treats, soft music. Nothing worked. Luna avoided eye contact. If Harry came too close, she vanished. Behind the couch, under the bed, even once inside the cabinet above the fridge. He started leaving the bathroom light on at night, just in case she felt safer that way. But every time she looked at him, there was something else in her eyes. Not fear, not hate, something deeper, like she had seen things he couldn't imagine. Harry sat near her one evening, watching her watch him. "I'm not gonna hurt you," he said softly. "I don't know what happened to you, but you're safe now." Luna's tail twitched, but her body stayed still. That night, Harry heard a crash. He ran out of his room and found the living room lamp shattered on the floor. Luna stood frozen near it, her eyes wide and wild. "Luna, what happened?" She bolted. Harry found her an hour later behind the washing machine, shaking. It kept happening. The mirror in the hallway cracked. Claw marks appeared on the bathroom door. A cushion was torn open, stuffing everywhere. But Luna didn't act like a cat throwing tantrums. She looked terrified. Harry didn't yell. He never even raised his voice. He just cleaned up, then sat near her hiding spots and spoke gently. "I don't care about the lamp, Luna." He whispered once. "I care about you." Some nights, Harry came home to find her gone. Not gone from the apartment, but gone from sight. Like she had vanished into thin air. Then, out of nowhere, she'd reappear in a corner or behind a curtain. She barely meowed, barely moved when he entered a room. Her silence felt heavier than any sound. He researched cat behavior online, trauma, fear responses, but nothing explained the deep pain Luna seemed to carry. One day Harry came home and found deep claw marks on the wall near the window, and drops of blood on the sill. "Luna?" he called out, panicked. No answer. He searched the apartment for 20 minutes before finding her under the bed, curled tight, a small cut on her paw. She looked up at him, her eyes distant and empty. Harry slowly lowered himself to the floor. "You tried to get out, didn't you?" he said gently. "You thought someone was coming." Luna didn't move. Harry's chest tightened. He wanted to help, but he couldn't reach her. Not like this. He left some gauze and warm water near the bed, then waited. An hour later, when he peeked again, the gauze was gone. The water was half drunk. Progress. But the worst night came a week later. Harry had stayed late at work. The apartment was dark when he walked in. Too quiet. He turned on the light and froze. Luna was in the corner of the room, shaking violently. Her fur was puffed, her ears flat. She didn't look at him. She just trembled, eyes locked on something that wasn't there. "Luna," Harry whispered. She let out the smallest cry. Not a meow, more like a breath of pain, then collapsed. Harry dropped to his knees beside her. "Luna, it's okay. You're safe. I'm here." She flinched. When he reached out, he stopped. "Okay, I won't touch you. I promise. I'm not gonna hurt you." He stayed there, sitting in silence, heart pounding. She lay there, still shaking. Harry's eyes welled up. "What did they do to you?" he whispered. "What did you go through?" Luna didn't answer, of course, but something in her eyes flickered, like a small light trying to come back. He stayed with her for hours, just sitting on the floor, watching her breathe. The next morning she was gone from the corner, but the food bowl was empty. She had eaten. Harry knew now. Luna wasn't just scared. She was broken. Not because she was a stray. Not because she was wild. But because someone had hurt her before he came into her life. And no matter how much he wanted to fix her, he couldn't erase the past. But he could stay. He could wait. "I'm not going anywhere," he said quietly that night, sitting near the window. Across the room, Luna lay on the rug, her eyes half closed. She didn't come to him, but she didn't run either. It wasn't trust, not yet, but it was a start. Luna was lying by the window, Still as a stone, Harry sat on the floor near her, just watching. It had been days since her collapse. She was eating a little, moving around, but her eyes stayed empty. Then it happened. She walked over, slow, cautious, and brushed against Harry's leg. He held his breath. Carefully, he reached out and stroked her back. She didn't run, but her body went stiff. Her fur twitched, and under his fingers, he felt them. Scars. Deep. Long. Hidden beneath her fur. "Luna," he whispered. Her eyes closed tightly. Then she let out the lowest, most painful sound he had ever heard. A broken meow. Harry pulled his hand back, heart racing. It wasn't just fear. It was memory. Someone had done this to her. That night, Harry couldn't sleep. He lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, her soft cries still echoing in his mind. "What did they do to you?" he whispered. He got up and opened his laptop. It was time to find out. He started with the auction site, then the shelter that had brought her in, then old records. It took hours. Names, files, blurry photos, but something didn't sit right. There was no background, no medical info, no ID chip. She had just appeared. Harry scrolled through forum posts, rescuer pages, even local news. Then he saw it. A small article, buried deep. Unlicensed breeder fined after discovery of animal cruelty behind local warehouse. It was dated 4 months ago. The photo showed a man being arrested. Behind him was a rusted cage, and in that cage, a gray cat. Thin, scarred. Harry leaned in. Luna, it was her. No doubt. He searched the man's name. Carl Brenner. Dozens of mentions, complaints. He'd been warned before, but always managed to slip through. Harry's hands shook as he read. This wasn't just a backyard breeder. It was part of something bigger. There were mentions of fights, trafficking, selling cats into labs, even illegal rings. Luna hadn't just been a stray. She had been a product, a victim. Someone had owned her, hurt her, sold her, and Harry had bought what was left. The next morning, he couldn't look at Luna the same way. Not because he didn't love her, but because now he understood. She wasn't scared of him. She was scared of what he might become. He knelt beside her and spoke softly. "You've been through more than I ever guessed, but I swear, I'm not him. I'll never be him." Luna looked at him. Her ears twitched. She didn't run. That night, Harry emailed the shelter, then animal control, then a rescuer from the news story. He asked questions, got silence. Then one woman replied, "She's lucky she's alive." Most of them didn't make it. Harry swallowed hard. He asked, "Was the man arrested?" Her message came fast. "Yes, but he got out, fined. He still runs a few places under different names. Nobody's shut them all down." Harry stared at the screen. He whispered, "He's still out there." The thought made his blood boil. Luna was sleeping on the windowsill now, curled into a tight ball. Her back rose and fell. Harry clenched his fists. He couldn't undo her past, but he could do something now. The next day, Harry drove to the edge of town. He found the address listed on an old permit Carl had used. It was a rundown property near the woods. Too quiet. Through the trees, he saw broken cages, empty bowls, and fresh tire marks in the dirt. Someone had been there. Recently, Harry snapped a few photos, heart pounding. He drove back, hands shaking. That night, Luna sat on his lap for the first time, just for a minute, but it felt like a year. Harry whispered, "You're brave, Luna. Way braver than me." She let out a small sigh and stayed. But deep down, Harry knew something was coming. Luna's past wasn't done with them yet. And if Carl was still out there, then neither of them were safe. But Harry had made a promise. He wasn't going to let her suffer again. Not now. Not ever. Luna's body was warm against Harry's chest, but her eyes never rested, even as she lay there, curled on his lap. She flinched at distant sounds. It had been 2 days since he visited the warehouse. 2 days since he saw those broken cages and fresh tire tracks. Harry had hoped they were safe, But Luna knew better. That night, she didn't come to the window. She didn't eat. And by morning, she was gone. Harry called for her. Searched under the bed, behind the fridge, every cabinet. Nothing. Luna. His voice cracked. Please. The apartment was too quiet. The bowl of food untouched. Her favorite blanket still folded. Panic kicked in. Harry grabbed his coat, phone, and flashlight. He ran through the streets calling her name, checked alleys, parks, and even the shelter. Hours passed. His legs ached. His voice faded. Still nothing. Until a woman near the highway said, "I saw a gray cat running toward the woods. Looked terrified." Harry's heart dropped. He knew where. She was going. The warehouse. He didn't even stop to think. He got in his car and drove fast, tires spinning on the dirt road. It was getting dark. Wind howled through the trees. He parked near the fence and ran. The warehouse stood like a shadow, its doors slightly open. "Luna!" he called, his voice echoing. Then he heard it. A faint cry. He pushed through the doors. The air inside was cold and rotten. Broken crates lined the walls. Chains hung from rusted beams, and in the far corner, curled up and shaking, was Luna. She looked at him, her eyes wide with terror. "Luna!" Harry breathed, stepping toward her. "It's me. I'm here." Then a voice from the shadows. "You shouldn't have come back." Harry turned. Carl Brenner stepped out, eyes hard, face twisted. "You took something that wasn't yours," he growled. "She's not a thing," Harry shouted. "She's not yours!" Carl moved closer. "She's part of what I built. She doesn't belong with you." Luna hissed, backing into a corner. Harry stepped between them. "You hurt her. You don't get to speak for her." Carl reached into his coat. Harry froze. No one's gonna miss a dumb kid who plays hero. Harry grabbed a broken pole from the ground. "Stay away from her." Carl lunged. The two crashed into the floor, fighting over the pole. Dust flew. Boxes toppled. Harry's shoulder slammed into the concrete. He screamed. Carl stood over him, eyes filled with rage. Then a sudden blur. "Luna!" She leaped, claws out, straight at Carl's face. He yelled, stumbling back. "Get off me, you stupid!" Harry grabbed the pole again and swung. It hit Carl's leg. Carl dropped. Harry didn't wait. He scooped Luna up, holding her tight to his chest. She was trembling but clung to him. He ran. Out of the warehouse, through the trees, back to the car. He didn't look back. Only when the engine roared to life did he breathe again. Luna was still in his lap, chest rising fast, eyes darting. "You saved me. You actually saved me." She pressed her head into his chest, as if finally believing she wasn't alone. At the police station, Harry showed them the photos, told them everything, the warehouse, the cages, the man. Officers listened, asked questions, took notes. They said they'd look into it, that it wasn't the first complaint, but Harry could tell. They didn't see it the way he did. To them, it was just another report. To him, it was life or death. Back at the apartment, he laid Luna on the couch, wrapped her in her blanket. Her breathing was steady now. He sat beside her, brushing her fur gently. "You were scared, but you still came back for me," he whispered. "I promise. I'll keep you safe from now on." She didn't flinch. She didn't run. For the first time, she purred. Harry smiled through tears. The darkness had chased her for so long, but this time, they had run from it together. The sirens came just minutes after they escaped. Harry had stayed at the station until nearly sunrise, repeating everything he knew. Officers promised they'd head to the warehouse. He didn't sleep, not even after getting home. Luna didn't leave his lap the whole time. Later that day, they called. "We got him," the officer said. "He was still at the warehouse. He's in custody now." Harry exhaled like he hadn't breathed in hours. "Thank you," he said, holding Luna closer. "Thank you for listening." But even with Carl behind bars, it didn't feel like a victory. Not yet. Luna didn't know justice had come. She still woke up at night, shaking. Still jumped at sudden sounds. Still sat by the window, staring into the dark like something might return. Harry knew healing would take time. And he had time. He made her space safer. He got her new toys. A cozy bed. A soft cat tree by the window. But Luna always preferred the old blanket beside his pillow. Each night, she curled there, closer than before. And every morning he'd whisper, "We're okay now, Luna." Little by little, the fear faded. One day, she rolled on her back and let him touch her belly. Another day, she followed him room to room. And then came the first time she ran to the door when he got home. Like she had been waiting. Harry knelt down, smiling. "Missed me, huh?" Luna chirped and rubbed against his leg. She still had scars. He still had nightmares. But together, they were different, stronger. One weekend, Harry took a photo of her sunbathing near the window. Eyes closed, completely calm. He posted it online. Just a caption. She made it. It went viral. Messages poured in. People saying they cried, that they hoped she was okay. Some told their own rescue stories. Some asked how they could help. Harry shared Luna's journey in pieces. Not the pain, but the healing. He didn't want people to feel sorry. He wanted them to believe in recovery. One woman donated to a rescue shelter in Luna's name. A man from across the country messaged, "I'm adopting a senior cat because of her." Harry showed Luna the screen. "You're a star now," he joked. She yawned. Months passed. Her fur looked healthier. Her eyes were brighter. She chased string. She knocked things off tables. She was a cat again. But more than that, she was family. Harry had changed too. He used to feel invisible, lost. Now he felt needed, grounded. He smiled more, slept better. Even started journaling about their life together. He looked at her one night and whispered, "You saved me too." Luna blinked slowly, then pressed her nose to his cheek. It wasn't all perfect. Some days were still hard. But there was a difference now. There was hope. One snowy evening, Harry lit a candle and sat with Luna in the quiet. He thought back to that auction, to the moment no one wanted her, to the moment he said, 10,000. Everyone had laughed. But he knew now. He hadn't overpaid. He had found something priceless, a soul that had been tossed away, and he'd helped bring it back to life. They weren't just a boy and a cat. They were survivors. They were proof that broken doesn't mean lost. That real love takes time, and that sometimes the ones who need saving the most end up saving you right back. Harry turned to Luna, who was purring beside him. "We made it, didn't we?" She looked up, eyes warm, no longer haunted, and in that quiet, gentle moment, he had his answer. The night was quiet, just like most nights now. Luna lay beside Harry on the couch, her head resting gently on his arm. 1 year since that auction, since the moment no one wanted her. Except him. Harry looked down at her. Her fur was soft now, her eyes bright. The fear that once lived in them was gone. He whispered, "You know what today is?" Luna blinked slowly, then pushed her nose into his sleeve. "Happy gotcha day, Luna." He smiled. It hadn't been easy. The nightmares, the hiding, the fear. But slowly, they had replaced it with something else. Routine, safety, and love. Harry had changed too. He remembered being that kid with shaky hands, standing in a room full of people, bidding everything he had for a cat that didn't even look at him. People had laughed, called him crazy, but they didn't see what he saw. He saw a soul that hadn't given up yet. Now their days were simple. Every morning, Luna would stretch and curl around his feet while he made coffee. Every night she waited at the door when he came home. She sat with him when he was sad. She followed him when he paced. She listened better than most people ever had. She wasn't just his pet. She was his partner in everything. Some days they'd sit by the window for hours. He would talk. She would purr. "Do you remember that first night?" He'd ask. "You didn't even eat until I left the room." He'd laugh, and Luna would flick her tail like she remembered too. He didn't need anyone else to understand. She had become home. One afternoon, Harry took out a shoebox of memories. Inside were photos, little notes, even the receipt from the auction. He picked up the photo from the day she lay in the sun, eyes closed. "This is the one that changed everything," he said. Luna hopped onto the table, sniffing the box. "Yeah, I know, you think you made me better," he chuckled. But it went both ways. He thought about how empty things had been before her, how quiet. Now there was warmth in every room. Even his friends noticed. "You smile more now," they'd say. "You seem grounded." He'd just shrug. "I've got someone to come home." Titawan. One rainy evening, Harry sat near the window, watching the drops race down the glass. Luna lay beside him, her tail flicking in rhythm with the storm. He looked down. "You know, we're not just okay. We're good," Luna purred. And he meant it. They didn't live in fear anymore. The past was still there, but it didn't hurt like it used to. It had become something they carried together, not something that controlled them. And when Harry had a bad day, he didn't hide from it anymore. He'd just sit on the floor, and Luna would come sit on his chest. Like she knew. Like she always knew. "I don't know how I got so lucky," he whispered once. She didn't answer, of course, but she never had to. One weekend, Harry visited the shelter where she was first listed. He brought supplies, food, blankets, toys. When the staff asked why, he said, "Because someone did this for her once, and it saved both our lives." Back home, he opened the door to find Luna waiting, tail up, eyes bright. He knelt down. "I missed you too." They didn't need much, not a big house. Not fancy things, just each other. That night, Harry looked around the small apartment, the scratch post in the corner, the food bowl half full, the blanket on the couch that smelled like home. Then he looked at Luna. She stared right back. Not with fear, not with pain, but with the soft, steady look of someone who belongs. Harry reached out and stroked her head. "We made it." And this time, she purred louder than ever before. They had come a long way, from broken trust to full hearts, from silence to a bond no one else could understand. They weren't owner and pet. They were family, and in a world that often felt too loud, too cruel, they had found something quiet, something real, each other.